Let's get started. This is the Octopode Conjurer of Ashenzari. He's looking good. He's reached a fun little milestone, having over 100 hit points here. As you can see right there, 103, which is a nice place to be. It's not really like a special number or anything. It's just a good sign, in my opinion, that you can survive a pretty big hit. Probably the most important number is like, I don't know, 104, because then that's when you can survive a max damage crystal spear from certain enemies like the Deep Elf Annihilator. While we're here, let's inscribe. Just so you can see the nice little link to my Twitch whenever you, because I see I've got a viewer here. Still at 52 wins in my streak. This will be the 53rd if we win. Got this fella I've been keeping an eye on, Nebuchadnezzar, who is coming for my record, although he's doing it with some very, very, very easy combos. Still pretty cool. I'm curious to see how far he gets. He's not doing repeats, but he is doing incredibly easy combos. Like none of these are really difficult at all, unfortunately, except for you could make the argument that Hill Orc Fighter has like some small amount of risk to it, but everything else is almost a guaranteed win if you know what you're doing. The no man, yeah, I've been posting that in my his streak and then going no afterwards because like he's a machine. He's spending like 12 hours a day, and I'm not judging because I spent a ton of time on DCSS myself, but these are all 15 rune wins. And so he's spending like 12 hours per game, and he's winning a game like every single day. How the hell is Hill Orc Fighter risky? It's not, but I'm saying like in comparison to everything else, because like a Hill Orc Fighter, in theory, if you run into a really, really early grinder, for instance, on a Hill Orc Fighter, you know, like a troll is going to tear grinder apart in like 1-2 hits. A centaur is just going to walk away. A deep dwarf is going to be able to just heal through anything bad that happens, and a minotaur is going to be able to use his horns and his weapon to probably just kill grinder, even if you get shafted right next to him. All of this stuff is just really, really guaranteed. Gargoyle is going to have the resist negative, so he's going to take not as much damage from the pain, and he's going to have enough AC probably at that point to not take much damage from the attack. Whereas like a Hill Orc Fighter could, in theory, get paralyzed and killed, and not be able to, you know, have any kind of way to come back from that. So I'm not saying it's risky. I'm just saying that like it's the only combo on this list that I think constitutes like a, you know, a challenging, well, not challenging, but a non-guaranteed game of, like, totally guaranteed game of DCSS. But I'm not trying to denigrate his streak, because it is, you know, it is impressive to get 34 wins in a row. It's just less, I would say that it's significantly less challenging than, you know, this stuff that I did. He also carefully avoided Chaos Knight. But, I mean, more power to him. He is putting in the time, and certainly is possible to lose on any one of those games if you make a bad enough mistake. Anyway, that's enough news on the competition, such as it is. This is a continuation of the caster tutorial. This is going to go up on my website, dungeoncrawlstonesoup.com, with a written write-up at some point after I finish the run. It's going to be kind of an idea of how to play a complicated, you know, advanced caster. And octopodes are about as advanced as it gets, because they are so fragile. Last time we finished up the lair, and we worshipped Ashenzari, which is a bit of an odd choice for reasons I've already gone into on an octopode, but it does save us from the horrors of explore traps. So we're using the best spells, basically, that we've found. Ashenzari does give us the ability to kind of use whatever kind of magic we want, as long as it's low enough level, because as soon as I train a little bit of anything, because I have some curse on my rings now, I've got a nice little boost you know, from like 4.9 to 7.2, so nice little 2-point boost. Later that goes up to like 5. As I recall, we decided to kind of become a Petrify guy, hoping that we find Stat Form. Stat Form is an incredibly good spell on most casters, but especially on Octopodes, because when you transform into a statue or anything else as an Octopode or any other race, you get to keep your jewelry. Octopodes happen to have a hajillion ring slots, so it's very, very nice. On top of that, it's the only way for me to get a lot of AC and a lot of guaranteed damage reduction. Ooh, this orc is carrying a wand of polymorph. Hello. Not that one. Searing Ray this dude. We're going to shout. We see that there's an orc warrior. Now, I was using Fulminate Prism to clear out, you know, to clear out the lair. We'll just use it again on the dungeon. Ooh. Okay, so that killed the orc with the polymorph wand off screen, most likely. Put this Fulminate Prism here, take a step back, kill them both. So I had trained a little bit of short blades because I was planning on basically doing some stabbing. Our stealth aptitude is +4, that's outrageous. Let's just take that to 10. Let's take stealth to 10. That's almost no cost. It's so good. Our aptitude is so good that that's very... Oops, I didn't mean to go down this hallway. This is kind of bad. But yeah, that's almost free, and it's a valid choice at this point of the game, because that's going to make it more likely for me to stab things, and it's going to make my stabs do way more damage. And honestly, it's just kind of nice to have stealth. These guys slow, by the way. So wraiths, if you find them early enough, are horribly dangerous. 15 doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but when you're slowed, as I am, that means they're hitting you potentially twice every turn, so... Also, it's like a force multiplier, because anything else that shows up suddenly becomes more dangerous, you know? This is a regular centaur skeleton, not a centaur warrior, so I'm not too worried. This is a great example of a vault that you can be pretty sure is going to have a lot of crap in it. Notice how it just kind of looks all open, you know? As Ashenzari, I get a rough idea of layout, as you can see from this sort of blue stuff that's showing up. I'm going to use a little bit of piety, not because I really want to, but because I just want to show off. Check this out, like if I want to have an idea of what's behind here, I can press A and then B. Okay, so A and then B, and I didn't spend any time doing that. That didn't take any time at all. If there was a dude next to me about to kill me, I could have still scryed, and all it would have cost me is 4 mana and some piety. It would not have cost me any time. Not that that's really usually that useful when you're about to die, but still. But now, I know what I'm facing. It's a really strong benefit of Ashenzari. I typically don't use it, but it's not helpful. There are times when it's really good. This is probably one of the times when it's not bad. Now I know that I need to be aware of this Centaur Warrior, you know? And the other thing is, I can put down this prism, and I can shout, and I can try to catch everything, which didn't quite work. Yep, there he is, shooting arrows at me. So check it out, this yak, he's not going to try to shoot through the yak, so I can safely just, like, chill out. And by the way, the scry eventually ends, as you can see. Okay, let's petrify him. 50% chance, he's petrifying. He eventually gets petrified, and then we get the stabs, and he dies. 67% chance to petrify the yak. Once the status effect is on them, you cast Petrify on them once, it says the yak is moving more slowly. It takes several turns for them to actually get petrified. If I want to petrify them quicker than that, I can cast it again, and if the MR check, if it gets through the magic resistance, it'll instantly petrify them the second time, as long as they have that effect on them already. And then, stab, 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 the helpless yak fails to defend itself, you skewer the yak like a kebab. You do some really solid damage when you're stabbing. Granted, being petrified gives some damage reduction, but we don't care. This is a +7 quarterstaff. It has RF plus on it, which is nice, but we've already got that. It's got Synv on it, which is nice, but jokes on that item, we actually get See Invisible from worshipping Ashenzari at some point, and there it is. Ashenzari reveals the unseen. This is red. That means we're already enjoying that benefit. So the staff really isn't all that useful for us. It's a pain staff. I guess I could train Necromancy and do some good damage with it, but typically you're not going to want to train Necromancy just to get damage out of a pain branded weapon. Plus, we don't even have any Necromancy spells, except for Simulacrum, which is nice, but significantly less nice when you're not worshipping Kiku, because Kiku can dump corpses right on your head, and you need good corpses to make good use of Simulacrum. That's a Centaur Warrior zombie. Anyway, as far as this vault goes, we got a book with a new trunk-only spell in it called Eringya's Noxious Fog. Finfolio is a big beefy book with 3, 4, 5, 6 spells in it. I feel like they just threw this on here. I don't think it replaced any spells in the old Finfolio, but I could be wrong. Hydroform is interesting. That's I was talking about turning this guy into a bit of a transmuter where he's slapping things around. Hydroform is probably it's basically the the embarrassing mutant in the basement. It's the brother you never knew about. He's chained up down there. That's probably the worst high-level transmutation spell in the game, because it makes you a big boy. You have big hit points, but you have like no defenses, and you attack. And I believe it gives you an axe-like attack where it attacks everything around you, but you are so fragile, despite your increased hit points. Let's just look at the description of Hydroform. Transform the caster into an amphibious, many-headed hydra, blah blah blah. You get more heads for the more spell power you have. Yeah, the multiple heads strike out in all directions. If you actually kill something with the form, you do eat it and gain hit points back, and you gain a little bit of armor, and you get our poise. But in general, this is just a terrible form. You could make this thing level 5, and I would still probably use transmutation, or I would probably use Blade Hands over it if I had it, which is the existing level 5 transmutation spell. So, I mean, we could go in that direction, because I kind of want to become a transmuter, but probably not. I don't really want to discuss every single one of these spells and why I'm not using them, because we're, as you can see, you end up with a very big library. Even, this isn't even like a 10th probably of the spells in the game. But we're only on D10. We've already got this big-ass library, so you need to develop a passing understanding of all of these items, or all of these spells, if you want to be able to make truly good decisions as to what you want to learn. Because as you can see, I don't have that many spell levels. Also, hello, Josh Meyer. Donamo's asking me, does Hydroform keep rings? Yep. Every single form keeps jewelry except for the bad forms. If you're a bat, for instance, you only get to keep your amulet. I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Hydra, because it's a good form, you get to keep all your rings. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but so does Dragon form and so does Staff form. It doesn't, yeah, but sure, but it's not a matter of making sense, I don't think, because like I said, where's the ring on the Hydra? Where's the 8 rings on the Dragon? I think it's because it's like negative forms have, dragons have fingers? Yeah, I guess they do. Well, Hydras don't. They just have a bunch of heads, unless their rings get so big that they're fitting on the heads. It's like more like collars. Anyway, probably not going to be going in that direction. I am sort of interested in Noxious Fog. I've heard that it's a bit overpowered. It is a level 6 spell, and it is transmutation. Let's see what it does. Causes the caster to release a torrent of sludge, which transforms the dungeon into a toxic bog in the caster's wake. No, that's okay, Josh Meyer. The sludge damages and poisons all monsters, even those resistant to poison. See, I was about to say, I don't care about this spell because, you know, most things are poise, but if this just bypasses our poise, that might be quite good. Sludge is temporary, cannot replace deep water or lava, and cannot be sustained out of the caster's sight. Okay. Spell power will increase both the duration of the torrent and how long the sludge lingers. So it gets through resistance to poison. I'm sure it doesn't get through immunity to poison, so undead are out of the picture. I am tempted to fool with this. I wonder if it slows dudes down as they try to get to you. I doubt it, but maybe. Under normal circumstances, knowing what I do about the spells and not messing around with new stuff, what I would look at with my spells right now is I would look at Summon Forest, which I just got, which is incredible. Really good spell. It's summoning and translocation. It basically makes it turns walls into trees, some of them, and then it spawns trees as well that are temporary and will go away when the duration is over. And it spawns a dryad. And the dryad's your buddy, and as soon as the dryad appears, she goes and casts a spell that makes the trees angry, and then the trees just start beating the asses of all your enemies that are next to them. And eventually the trees like spit out these vines that drag your enemies right to the trees. So it's crowd control, it's damage, it's area of effect. It's sick. The only downside to it is you can't cast it in a cramped space. So when I see that spell on a character that has aptitudes that are, conducive to using it, I get pretty excited to take a look at it. 32% fail rate on that right now, but that's okay. We haven't even trained any translocations. So if I were to do that, I'm going to get a big boost immediately because once I train translocations, you see it's 0.3 now, but if I were to train that a little bit, Ashenzari's boost is going to kick in and it's going to immediately go up by like 2. So that's pretty good. We may mess with the Bog spell though. Even though this is a tutorial, I think, and take that spell, whatever we see about this Noxious Fog thing, take it with a grain of salt, because this is Trunks, so it is subject to change. What are we doing? Training stealth. Let's take spell casting up to 8 so we gain a spell level. Actually, what we could do is we could go ahead and use Amnesia. We're not going to need Magic Dart anymore, so let's just get rid of that. I'll take away spellcasting actually, and then we'll just memorize the Bog. Now, typically I'm not going to want to train poison magic because it's terrible, but maybe this spell means it's not. We will train poison magic to 5, and you know what? Octopodes have a +2 aptitude in poison magic, so it's not even that expensive. All right, what have we found in this vault? We found sacks of spiders, one of them, taking us to 2. That's an amazing item. Cloak of Invisibility would have been quite nice, but we're too strangely shaped to wear a cloak. A 10 of Tremor Stones. This item is really dumb, and is unlikely to make it into a stable version of the game. This is, I believe, Pleasing Fungus's addition to the game. It's really silly. My understanding is that it's just a little grenade, but for some reason, despite the fact that you evoke it, it's not affected by your evocation skill. It's not even reliable where it lands. The user is always at risk of being hit. Armor is extremely effective at repelling the lightweight fragments of rock. It's just like a fragment grenade. So this is like a horrible item. Really horrible item, especially for us to use, because our AC is crap, and it's not going to stop being crap anytime soon, unless I were to cast Statue Form. So let's just test this baby out. I can demonstrate how bad it is. Hold on, let me kill this dude first. There we go. A little risky letting myself get slowed there. Alrighty, let's use the 10 of Tremor Stones. So, nice artwork there, little question mark. 1 in 3 chance of accidentally destroying the case, so that's fine. Okay. Alright, I get it. Okay, so the brighter yellow is where the explosion definitely will happen, and it might go further than that. It'll say the beam is likely to hit you. It's not necessarily likely, it just could happen. And it hits me, and it does freaking 20 damage to me. So it's like, I mean, it's a cute item, don't get me wrong, but it is weird. It is weird that it's not affected by evocations. And the idea of doing damage to myself is, I mean, I guess I don't hate it because it's not too dissimilar from, say, Immolation Scroll, which I do like quite a bit. But Immolation Scroll feels a little more tactical than throwing a grenade, so I think that item can safely be ignored on a character like this, especially at this point in the game. But it might be interesting on a character that's, I don't know, wearing plate armor and found it earlier on. I'd have to see exactly how much, like I'd have to do some code diving and see how much damage it can actually do. Because if the thing can do like 60 damage to you, that's horrifying, you know? Just like really, really scary. Scrolls of Enchant Armor. Yeah, I'll go ahead and enchant up the Kite Shield. That's cool. Do we have any Identify? No. Chunk of Flesh. Having item management issues. I think we'll go ahead and drop these boomerangs. We shouldn't need them. I can also drop the Staff of Air because I'm only using it for Aralek, which we already have in the form of the axe. We'll drop Polymorph. I don't anticipate needing Polymorph Wand because I've already got other things that affect MR, like Enslave, and of course my Petrify spell. Yeah, okay. That'll be good for now. Here's Maurice the Thief. I kind of wish I hadn't dropped Polymorph now because he's a great target for it. I want to go down. I'm gonna pick that up. We'll use it real fast, I guess. Shout. He happens to have a Wand of Paralysis. When he attacks me, he steals an item. And if he steals a wand, or a scroll, or a potion, he'll happily use it. So this dude is essentially Mr. Item Destruction. He'll also steal your crap and then teleport away, which just is obnoxious. And he does a couple of other things, but we're just gonna, I mean, we know that his magic resistance sucks. We have a 73% chance to polymorph him, so we do that, stopping him from casting his spells, and stopping him, because he turned into a form without hands, stops him from using the wand that he had. So now I get a Wand of Paralysis. We'll just paralyze Maurice the Firebat. And now I'll drop Polymorph. Down he goes. Give me that wand. So, kind of an interesting... little vault here. This is bigger than I thought it would be. There's like four of these boxes instead of one. But wasn't really anything too scary in there, so that's fine. Oh boy, Deep Elf. Gotta watch out for these guys. They can do something like, I want to say 54 damage, 51, Deep Elf Mage. They can do pretty much all the types of damage, you know, fire, electric, ice. So if you don't have resistance in everything, then you might find yourself, for example, eating a negative energy bolt for 3d17, so 51 potential damage, and then getting drained as well for more damage. So I gotta watch out. They can summon stuff. They're pretty easy to kill though, pretty fragile. They also have bad MR, 50% chance to petrify. Cast it 3 times, it finally works. Cast it again, fail. Cast it again, succeed. He summoned this Earth Elemental, but he's, you know, no big deal. We just kill him and all of his summons go away. It's kind of funny that garbage like adders still spawn this late in the game. Not really much of a challenge. How are we doing on this Noxious Fog? This level 6 spell. Taking poison magic to 5. I guess I'll take transmutes to 10. Ordinarily I would train the thing with the higher aptitude higher, but I know that I eventually want to be casting stat forms, so we're just getting some transmutations in advance. And even if I were not you know, if I were not to find stat form, that Teamooch skill will become useful, because I could make Hydroform work if I had to. Let's drop this Ring of Fire. I don't need to reduce my RC. That Amulet of Reflection is quite nice, but I don't really have many remove curse scrolls. And so I don't really want to take off the magic regen anyway. It's quite nice. I could curse an item like my dagger or my war axe. But I don't want to not be able to swap those. And I could curse another ring, but these rings are all kind of bad, so I don't really care about having more skill. I'll go ahead and curse the hat. I know I'm not going to take this damn hat off because it's so good. And while I don't care about being bound in armor, because who cares about my armor skill, I actually can't even, come to think of it, I can't even train armor as an Octopode. So it's not really... Actually, no. Hold up. Stand corrected. That's really useful. Check it out. Suddenly we're getting a 3-point boost in dodging. I forgot about this. If you enchant your hat slot on a character that can't have... well, if you enchant... I guess... like Octopodes and Draconians are basically the only races that I can think of that are affected by this. But yeah, if you don't have an armor, if you can't wear body armor, then what happens is if you were to enchant, or sorry, if you were to curse under Ashenzari, if you were to curse your hat, then yeah, you get a bonus to dodging instead of armor. So that's cool. That may just be hats in general, but I think it's only if you don't have a body armor slot. How does Ashenzari Octopode work with rings? Hello, Philippe. Welcome to the stream. The answer is badly. I had to curse 5 pieces of jewelry to get any benefit. So typically you wouldn't want to take Ashenzari on an Octopode for that reason, but I decided to because the benefit of avoiding the explore traps is actually quite nice. And it's not really that bad, it's just more of a headache. Like, you need to make sure you can survive without the benefit of extra skill, maybe a little longer than other species. Alright, watch out for early game gargoyle enemies. This is only D10, and it's worth just taking a look. Like, okay, so they can cast Stone Arrow, right? Stone Arrow on them does 3d12, 12, 24, 36 potential damage, and he can do that every turn. So if he wanted to, he could just, like, whoop my ass in 4 turns. But I could just put up a spire, and notice how he shot a stone arrow immediately, and it just whacked the spire instead of me. It's pretty good. Granted, he's resistant to electricity, so that's not gonna do the job. Let's put a prism here, and this is a cute little trick that you're gonna find useful. These kind of combos where you put a spire up and then you do some smite targeted crap behind them or on top of them. Maybe like airstrike right on top of them, or this prism there, or just cast more summons in order them to attack. This is a great combo. Works against a lot of things. I'm virtually immune to taking damage right now, but I'm doing damage to him. I'm just gonna make a prism though. Let's just searing ray him. There we go. Wow, actual DCSS. That's right, Artagus. It's not B-Crawl, though. I'm sorry. I gotta continue my streak, you see. +2 hat. Don't care about that. We have the hat to end all hats here. Okay. Let's go down. Vanilla is pretty cringe. Alright, watch out for early game ugly things. They do move quickly. They don't attack quickly, so they won't get 2 attacks on you, but they will chase your ass down and you will not be able to just walk away and escape from them. Bite for up to 17 damage, and then depending on their color, they will do up to 24 of some type of energy damage. Luckily, their MR is pretty bad, so we're just going to petrify him. He is petrifying. Get the nice stabs. Easy enough. Still trying to get Noxious Fog online. I really don't know if that's going to be a waste of my time or not. We will find out. Again, that's a new spell. How big is the win streak right now? A 3 streak. Ha ha ha. I currently hold the world record for Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup win streaks. I have 52 consecutive wins. It's also an incredibly difficult streak from a standpoint of combos. The first 43 of these are the exact combos that were played by the second longest win streak at the time when I was building this streak up. Although my boy Man has risen up, and for a while there we were tied at 51, but then I started playing again, and he's got a really impressive streak of difficult combos as well. Most impressively, he did his streak, a lot of it, like during a tournament, which is under a little more time pressure, so that was pretty cool. This other guy who's got an active streak who seems to be gunning for the record, although he's got a lot of very easy combos. I'm kind of hoping that he starts taking on stuff that's a little harder. Be a little more interesting. But the basic rule is no repeats, although technically if you wanted to, you could streak, 100 mibbies in a row. It's just probably no one would take it that seriously. But yeah, 52 wins. This is going to be 53. Prism. So I'm not too worried about these bees, but if this was earlier in the game, I would be, because they attack really quickly. This is actually a really famous early game killer. You just get like a gigantic pack of bees or swarm of bees, and they do 10 damage a pop, but then they are very fast, so they're actually attacking multiple times a turn. They just straight up poison you to death. Prism is a wonderful tool against them, so if you start as a conjurer, see how I just wiped all of them out, except for one. Also, if you get them in a hallway, an Octopode stands a decent chance of killing them just with melee, because you can constrict them. A lot of little tools for killing early game bees. Hello. Am I learning Koof spells? Yeah, I'm learning the Noxious Fog, which actually gives your enemy the coronavirus. No, I don't know what that spell... Well, I know what it does because I've read the tooltip, but I don't know if it's any good. It looks like it probably is okay, but we are going to find out, and I am learning it, even though I don't respect poison. It looks like it probably has really good turn economy. I'm going to take Poison Magic to 10. With my +2 aptitude, that shouldn't be too bad. What are these spells, bro? I'm playing in Trunk. We have Dazzle Flash instead of Dazzling Spray. And there's nothing else new, I don't think, in my list right now. I guess IMB has changed quite a bit. Did I... Yeah, I still have that memorized. Anyway, let's deal with the task at hand, which is Gastronok, a big boy slug who can hit like a truck for 40 damage, but acts very slowly. And he has a Hat of Sea Invisible, which we don't care about. Put a Spire up, that'll stop him from slowing me. However, his airstrike can be used from anywhere. So I need to be very careful. It also does more damage if you're flying, which we're not, so that's fine, but it does more damage in Trunk to targets surrounded by empty space. So it's going to be helpful, I guess, that the Spire is next to me. I want to say that can do about 50 damage to me. So it's actually very dangerous that I'm playing ball with him. In fact, we're gonna walk away. Even though he casts Swiftness on himself, he's still slower than me. Okay, he wandered off. Just petrifying these guys. So even though this ugly thing is typically faster than me, while he's slowly petrifying, it does make him take actions more slowly. So, I was able to just walk away, and that's a cool thing you can do. Just petrify something, while it's petrifying, walk away. And then it'll eventually get petrified, and then you walk forward again, and you beat the thing's ass, and it's quite easy. We didn't do that to Gastronok because he has really good magic resistance, so it's not super likely to work. Okay. Bullfrog, very easy at this point. The War Axe, Sapcore. Freeze, MP +9. I don't care about that. Nice scale mail here that we can't use. Acid Dragon, take heed. I don't have our core as far as I remember. Do I? No. Acid Dragon, if you look him up, it says he does 3d7 damage, but that 21 has, that's 3 times 7 is 21, but then it's also an extra 20 because you can get splashed with acid every time you get hit by a ranged acid or melee acid attack, and that does up to 20 damage, so these guys can do a good 41 damage if they breathe on you. I'm not too afraid, though. Let's make a spire here so I don't get surrounded. He's not going to blast through his slime creature friend, who can do 22 damage to me. Is that still not in the tooltip? No, because the devs are incredibly lazy. It neither tells you the damage of the acid, nor does it tell you the extra secret damage. Really bad. I have no idea why they haven't fixed that. You know what? We could try to petrify this guy. And while he's petrifying, I'm going to Dazzle Flash. Oh, it's a big boy flash now. Alright, they are blinded. That means I can stab them. I'm going to petrify this guy too. There we go. So, what I really cared about is this book. It's the Book of the Dragon. It has the new spell Foxfire, which is a level 1 spell I don't particularly care to explain right now, because it's meaningless to us. It's got Cause Fear, which is a Hex spell, which is actually pretty good. It's kind of like a Fear Scroll if you get enough Hex spell power. In fact, we could learn that now. That might be pretty useful for us, because we already have how much Hex training? Hot diggity damn, we have almost 10. We have 9 Hex training. That's good. It has Dragon Form, which is the highest level transmutation spell, which is not very defensive, but it probably does the most damage in the game. Really, really good versus certain enemies. And it's got Dragon's Call, which is the highest level summon in the game, so it's a very powerful book, the Book of the Dragon. I'm very happy to see it. This means that even if I don't find statue form, I've got something that I can use in the late game for transmutation, so we know for a fact we want to go in that direction. I saw this two-headed ogre. Instead of trying to fight him in this little hallway, I shouted, and I'm pulling him out. Nice. Ordinarily, I would not go for this wacky bog spell, but I do kind of want to check it out on stream. Again, I realize this is a tutorial, and I probably shouldn't be doing things that are questionable, but needs a bit of a damage nerf and armor buff, Dragon Form, NGMat says. I disagree. I like the fact that it is a glass cannon. I like the fact that it has an incredibly separate use case from stat form. I really think it's in a good place. Alright, Sonya is a kobold, a unique kobold. Very dangerous. She starts with Curare darts. She can throw those at you to poison and slow you. She usually starts with a short blade of distortion, which can send you to the abyss or just do a lot of damage to you. She's also quite fast, and in this case she started with a wand of digging that I don't care about. But her magic resistance is terrible, so we are going to use a wand of paralysis to instantly take her out of the fight and kill her with a stab. I don't care about the short sword of distortion. I might if it was earlier in the game, but I just don't. I suppose I will carry that with me, though, in case I want to send myself to the abyss, which is what taking off a disto weapon can do. My pack is full. Uh-oh, gotta drop some crap. We're a bit late in the game. I can go ahead and drop Wand of Flame and random effects. I'm pressing backslash here to get to the items that I've already identified, and I'm going to tell the thing to not pick up Wands of Flame anymore and not pick up random effects anymore. You have been banished by her blinking next to me. Yep, it's kind of messed up, but she can blink and act in the same turn. It's really crazy. This is a transporter vault. Have no fear of the things inside of it. because we have to go in for them to get out, or for them to attack me. Erica's here. Force Lance. So the Force Lance spell still exists? I don't understand. They gave that to monsters instead of the existing IMB. I'm so confused. I guess because they didn't want it to have AoE. Alrighty. Let's put a Spire here. This way she cannot... well, I'm immune to Confuse because of Ashenzari, but if I wasn't, I'd be very afraid of that. If I didn't have enough MR to be immune to it, I'd be afraid of the Slow if I didn't have enough MR to be immune to it. I'm sort of afraid of the Force Lance. I am afraid of the Venom Bolt, because I don't have our Poise. It's not even available except in the form of a... Oh, there is a ring available. It's in the little transporter vault. We gotta get rid of the no-brainer spells, except the no-brainer never learn this spells. Yeah, I know. It's development. Anyway, right. So this Spire stops any bad things from happening to me. She can technically bolt still through the Spire, but that's okay. Actually, I would like to put a prism here, just outside the range of the Spire. Okay, I think I'm gonna put a prism there, and it's okay if it hits the Spire. Put another Spire here, prism explodes, she dies. Whoa! Hello, look at that. Look how quickly things can go badly. I take one step, there's a Cyclops here, he whacks me with a large rock. 3 exclamation points later, my hit points goes from 103 to 64. Just a casual 40, actually more than 40 damage, because notice how my magic went down. The Hat of the Bear Spirit is reducing that by taking away some damage. So that was like near to max damage easily. Just a big boy. We're gonna put a Spire here. That'll stop him from... I mean, he's at least gonna have to punch that thing. We're just gonna walk away. Bye-bye. One of the reasons why Spire is just incredible. And rest and come back down. And there he is. So let's talk a little bit about positioning here, because this is a great example of a fight that could go horrendously if I screw around too much. And he's still quivering 3 large rocks, so that's a good amount of ammo to whoop my ass. So if I were to do something here, cast a spell, like say Petrify, which is what I want to do, it fails, he hits me for max damage, oh no, I don't have to spend any resources or run any risks to get away from him. I can just take a step here, which I know he can't see me from there. Okay, so I cast, he resisted, but the rock hit me and did like no damage. Do it again, rock hit me and actually I blocked it. Do it again, he's being petrified. Do it again, he is petrified. Sadly, I have been memed on because Gastronoc is here. So I cannot go ahead with my plan to stab. But actually, you know what I could do? I could Dazzle Flash and we could see what happens. Okay, so he immediately airstrikes me and it's really annoying. Let's walk away. Yep, that's silly. Let's go to a different staircase. I thought maybe I could blind him and stop him from airstriking me, but nope. This didn't work. It's not likely to work because Gastronoc has a ton of hit dice anyway. Look at that 150. Let's go over here. Look at that 150 hit points that he has. It's no joke. Alrighty. Let's try this again. Let's put up a Spire. Large rock hits the Spire. That is his last large rock. Spire again. Put up a prism. Maybe we can get some damage on this. Brandon says, just tried streaming. How do you get over the weirdness of talking to yourself at points? I very quickly got over that because I'm one of those people who enjoys that kind of thing. Like I worked as a teaching assistant where I managed my own lab in grad school, where I basically taught kind of a side class. I don't know, I like to talk to people, and I know people are listening. I guess if you don't have an audience at all, then it's kind of weird, but like the way I treated it, I was also recording for YouTube, so I kind of, it's like you're still getting to people, it's just later on, you know, so it didn't really feel weird to me. But a lot of it's just personality. I mean, I like to talk, so it's not a problem for me. It may vary for others. Alright, so we're going to wait a turn. We can ignore everything that's happening inside this horrifyingly dangerous vault because none of it can get to me. Okay, the prism does really good damage. Cyclops actually doesn't have... Cyclopes don't have much AC, so prism does great damage to them. Let's take a step back. So I used prism, but they attacked it and it exploded. I'm going to do it again. This might damage my spire. Or will damage my spire, but I'm going to be so far away that I don't care. So that explodes, it kills my spire, it kills the Cyclops. Good. I'd really like to use Toxic Bog. Wonder if there's any character who would take that Vault on T11. Mibby could probably do it, I guess. Make a spire. Order him to attack. I could use something like a Phantom Mirror on Gastronach and maybe deal with this, but I'm trying to... What I'm trying to do here is get as much damage on him as possible and kill him without using resources. And my Spire basically did the work for me, eventually. Very cool. That Hat of See Invisible would have been quite nice if I wasn't worshipping Ashenzari and didn't already have a way better hat. Why is Phantom Mirror good on Gastro? Well, Gastro hits for 40 damage. So if you were to Phantom Mirror Gastro, he will hit himself for a bunch of damage, and he may even get distracted and fight himself, basically, like the original one will fight the clone. And it's just a useful tool. Now, his MR is really good, and the more MR something has, the less lengthy of time the Phantom Mirror clone will last. So it's not the best target for that reason, but it's still pretty good. Found a bookshop. That's always a really good find on a character that is worshipping a god that doesn't give books or spells, but still the character wants spells. So there's Conjurations, we already have that. Necronomicon, the best necromancy spell in the game. I don't intend to really... Well, we may use Necromutation when we go to do extended, like the 15 runes. No, Artagus, the eye was actually a shapeshifter, so you just wait for him to not be an eye anymore, and then go in. Probably make a bunch of Brothers in Arms as soon as you go in. Book of Battle. That's okay. Again, like, I know this is a tutorial, but I'm not going to explain every single spell I come across, just the ones that I find to be useful on this character. Book of Necromancy. If we had found this earlier, this would have been a really good find. Animate Skeleton, Animate Dead are quite amazing. Agony, unfortunately, sucks ass these days. They took the range to one tile for some strange reason. I think it's because there's this guy who does art for the game named Worms, and he uses Agony all the time, and he thinks it's like the best thing since sliced bread. So he's like friends with the devs, and I think, this is my theory, this is my big conspiracy theory, guys, so take it with a grain of salt, but my working theory is that he talked about it enough that they got the idea in their heads that this spell was broken, but it really wasn't, and now it's terrible. Vamp Drain is also quite nice. This is the starter book, by the way, for... Or wait, no, it's not. Is it? Is this a starter book for... Yeah, I guess this is the starter book for Necromancers these days. Okay, cool. Book of Clouds. Don't really care about any of this right now. Book of Enchantments is nice for demissile, but we already have that. And Book of Misfortune. So I don't care about any of these books, really, except for maybe Necronomicon someday down the line, but not yet. Necronomicon, well, let me show this one more time. Basically, when you're playing a caster, you know, it's a lot like playing a fighter, like a melee guy, in one way. And that way is, when you're playing a fighter of some sort, you're generally looking for a weapon, right? You're looking for, what is the first weapon that I've found that will take me to the end game successfully? It's the same way on a caster, except you're looking for the first spell. Ideally a set of spells, you know, that will sort of leapfrog your way to the end of the game. But especially you want some end game spell that will let you beat certain difficult endgame threats like Orbs of Fire, Killer Clowns, and other assorted Zot enemies. Necronomicon, if I found this in the early game, you know, as long as I had something to get me up to these high-level spells, like Vamp Drain or something, or I'd like Bolt of Draining would be cool. I guess that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know, just Death Channel, I guess, just various Necromancer spells. If I had something to get me there, I know that with this book I can beat endgame threats, because Haunt is so amazing that it just kills anything. Infestation lets you clear entire floors. This other stuff, Revivification, Death's Door, Necromutation is more situational, but just Haunt and Infestation, I mean, Infestation alone is outrageous. So that would be, if I were to find that, I would be pretty excited on most casters. This guy doesn't need to go in that direction because he already found Dragon Form, which will kill anything in the game. So not too concerned. I know that with Perfect Play I will win with Dragon Form, and I already have a good bit of Transmutation training, so it is, I believe, the correct choice. Cool thing about training Stealth is that you'll notice sometimes I'm going up to these dudes and they just stay sleeping and I just stab them. Super easy time. Alrighty, so this vault. Do I want to go into this vault? The Hornet could just paralyze me instantly. Sounds like a real horrible time, actually. Oh yeah, the unarmed manual is pretty... That's another good... Yeah, I forgot about that. That's another reason why I'm definitely going in the Transmutations direction. +1 Ring of Protection we found. That's okay. Hey, let's use these Scrolls of Identify. I'm using them on scrolls because I want to find a blink scroll. I'm getting to the point where I'd really like to have blink, so I'm going to use these 2 stacks. Magic Mapping, Brand Weapon. Okay, do I want to rebrand Dagger of Draining? Probably not. It doesn't really matter one way or the other, so I'll just abort and waste the scroll. It's weird that we found 2 brand weapon scrolls. Those are typically very rare. It's very strange that we don't have a blink scroll right now, or if we do, it's only a 1 stack. Barbarian Lich form is Necromancy plus Transmutation, and it's like level 8, so it's very hard to get online. For the benefit that it gives, it's not typically worth it, unless you're planning on going into Extended, and then it becomes worth it, although it does give you some good benefits, like it gives you MR+, it gives you some AC, it gives you a Spell Enhancer on Necromancy spells, it's okay. Biggest thing is it makes you immune to Torment. So anyway, yeah, like, you're looking at this dragon, Storm Dragon hits like a truck, 25 plus 15 plus 15. It does a lightning bolt for, I think, like 75 damage. It can bounce off walls and do more damage. It's actually fast, unlike the other dragons, so it can get multiple actions, multiple sets of these actions. And this is horrifying to see this vault. As much as I want this little ring here, with the R-Poise on it and the MP +9, it's not worth the horror. You know, like the File of Floods would be nice, but it's just too risky. It's insane. So we're just gonna pretend that vault doesn't exist, basically. We may come back to it. If we were to get stat for him, it would be okay, but otherwise, nope. Okay, fun thing about worshipping Ashenzari. You'll notice it said, you feel a wave of frost pass over you, there's an entrance to an ice cave on this level, blah, 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 blah. You have a vision of a gate, right? Ashenzari tells me where the entrance is. I don't have to, you know... Oh wait, that's not it. Bro, I just had to petrify this mana core like 4 times. Mana cores are very risky, by the way, at this point in the game. But bad MR. Okay, so it's down here. There was just another yellow thing, which was the shop. But yeah, Ashenzari will tell you where that is. It's quite nice. Okay, these are slime creatures that are merging, getting 22 extra damage every time they merge. And I am failing to petrify I guess 51 is not that high, huh? 51%. So obviously we don't want to fight this enormous slime creature. It can do 88 damage. And we don't want to try to go upstairs. This is actually really dangerous. I may have made a mistake here. Cause Fear would be useful here. I should have memorized that. That's okay. Let's just use a Fear Scroll. Bit of a waste, but that's fine. Demonologist will try to petrify. We succeed. I'd like to make it to that portal. Alright, let's see what this bog does. Normally I wouldn't use a thing with a high failure rate like this, but it's fine. You begin spewing toxic sludge. I don't see any graphics. Okay, it's in the tile I used to be in. I'm leaving a trail of sludge. Okay. My noxious spew wanes. Okay. This doesn't seem like a very good spell. It seems like it would be alright in a hallway. I was expecting the whole area to become, you know, the kobold festers in the toxic bog. The kobold looks as sick as possible. It's not like terrible or anything, but let me cast this again. Move away. So it leaves it on the tile where I was formerly standing. Does a little bit of damage. They get poisoned and they die. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. I think I'd rather have the tried and true, you know. Tried and true petrify on my side, you know. So yeah, I mean, for a level 6 spell, I would say that this bog spell is pretty balanced. It's not terrible. We badly needed more mechanics in the game focused on kiting and corridors. Yeah, Artagas knows what's up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about all this. A little bit questionable. I think I'd rather start rushing towards dragon form now. I will take Earth Magic to 10, because I want my Petrify to have higher spell power. And I want, because of the higher spell power, I want it to, that's the result of that is going to be that it's going to have a higher chance to succeed versus things, even if they have good MR. Yeah, everything's really pointing me in the direction of training a lot of transmutations right now. The end goal being to get dragon form online. Alright, we're walking towards the portal. Petrify both of these guys. These whites are a low-level enemy that can drain you if they hit you. No big deal for this character. Okay, we'll take off the Ring of Fire. Now we have RC++. This is the Ice Devil version of the Ice Cave. I happen to know that these are, these things, these tough-sensed monsters, those are portals. Or, sorry, those are statues. So they can't move. The prism will simply damage them for me. However, I should be more careful because I'm luring tons of Ice Devils. Let's make a Spire. Let's, screw it! Let's cast the bog. He's smart enough to not walk into the bog, or maybe he just got distracted because he got attacked by the Spire. Okay. Cool. Also, I guess I will take Poison Magic to 10. I might as well at this point. Okay, now that those guys are dead, we can continue our cheesy little kill the statues plan. Why is he not dying? I'm guessing it's because his AC is okay. There it is. You feel a little more experience, so he went away, you know, so he's dead now. Just to prove it to you, there's the ice statue with his 3 pips of AC. I mean, I could just melee this thing, to be honest, you know, to finish it up. A couple identify scrolls, let's use those on scrolls. I found vulnerability and I found summoning. Summoning's nice, it gives you allies, nice little collection of allies from that floor. It just summons temporary versions of whatever would be spawning in that area for you. Also found vulnerability, which will make you have half your magic resistance for a little while, but it also makes everything on the screen have half the magic resistance for a little while, which is amazing. It'll allow me to petrify things more easily. It will allow me to paralyze things with the wands, enslave, etc. Yeah, no, we've had a horrible luck game as far as consumables go, Artagus, because we have simply not found Blink. Blink is not identified. This could be Blink here, Kanwu eBay, but that would mean that we've only found 1 Blink scroll. If you press backslash and then dash, you can see items not yet recognized, and so that scroll could be Acquirement, Blinking, Holy Word, Silence, or Torment. Alright, these doors will have simulacrums behind them. Simulacrums can do a lot of damage, but they usually are slow. They do a ton of cold damage though, so it's good to be careful around them. I am kind of curious. Let's use the bog. I just want to prove this to myself. Yeah, does absolutely... Whoa, hold up. It does do damage. It does damage, but it doesn't poison them. So they're immune to poison because they're simulacrums, but it will... Wow, that's a poison spell that actually does some non-poison damage. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't hate this. Anyway, I'm just going to fight these guys. Unless it's like a gold dragon simulacrum or something, or like a deep troll simulacrum, I'm not too worried because I do have RC++. You never really want to fight simulacrums, though, if you don't have RC. I can't really cheese this like I would like to, so I'm just going to Searing Ray it. These guys will summon clouds on your head. They'll summon these little ice beasts that are not really a big deal. I mean, if I really... Honestly, I can cheese him. If I just put a prism there. I'm just going to have to risk getting hit, is the thing. Put a prism there. There. Whoa. Hey, guys. Damn, these dudes are just not taking the damage. Maybe I should have used my bog. Let's make a spire. Oh shit, we're taking a lot of damage. It's time to back off. We'll go down and to the right. It's incredibly dangerous what I did there. 16 plus 24 cold damage. Remember to divide that by 2 if you have a pip of resistance. But yeah, if I hadn't walked away right there, there was a chance of dying. Walk away now. Spire finishes them off for me. Got a little bit reckless there. Oh, hey, there's the Necromancer. He's the boss of this gem. We can just put up a spire and a prism. Yeah, put a prism not here because that'll hit the spire, but right here. They either have Bolt of Fire, Bolt of Cold. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's adorable. So the devs have given up on caring about players and monsters having access to the same stuff, or spells acting the same for players and monsters. So this is the laziest thing I've seen in my life. Instead of making it so like Necromancers and anything else with Agony were affected by the same dumbass nerf that they did to Agony, they just gave them something called Agony Range, which halves your hit points at range if it gets through your MR, which does not work on me because I have a ton of MR, but still, that's... I was curious how they would handle that, and it's exactly as dumb as I expected. God, that's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed, honestly, if I was a developer of this game. I hate to be a jerk, but these are the same people who have repeatedly told people that I'm... Incorrectly, of course, told people that I'm a literal Nazi, so I will be harsh on them, and if I see them doing something dumb, I will call them out on it, and this is incredibly silly. Anyway, this thing can have Bolt of Fire, depending on what book it has, so we took off the Ring of Fire to get more RC. We're going to put that right back on, just in case. Don't want to take 60 damage from this dude, or 51, or whatever it is you can do. Could have also just petrified this dude, but it's only a 36% chance. Let's just Searing Ray him. Cool. Alrighty, so Strength, Intelligence, Dexterity. Typically on a caster, you want to get as much int as possible, because that makes you better at casting your spells. It gives you more spell power, gives you more chance to succeed. Just in general, it's the best way. Dex will give you more evasion if you have enough dodging skill, but people almost never get that. Strength, the main use of strength is to be able to cast spells in heavier armor, or to simply do more damage with melee or range attacks. I'm going to get strength, even though I can't wear body armor this time. And the reason is because I am going to be slapping things around in dragon form at some point, and ideally statue form at some point. And so, I would like to do more damage with my enormous base. Well, the thing is that the more your base damage is, the more strength impacts your attack, right? And dragon form has a huge base damage, just absolutely enormous. Unarmed combat in general has that, so we'll probably get strength for the rest of the game. It's kind of an interesting special case this time, though, so don't necessarily think you should always be doing that. Oh, what a sick find! We found Pearl Dragon Scales, probably one of the best mundane armors in the game due to the fact that it has high AC and low encumbrance. So you can have pretty good evasion in it, really good AC in it, and still cast some spells in it. Sadly, we don't care, because we are an octopus man. Gained 3 scrolls of Kanwu eBay. Oh, we even found Boots of Running! Holy crap, one of the best boots in the game. Probably the best boots in the game, just because it makes you move faster, but I don't have feet, so I can't use boots. Alrighty, with this 4 stack, we're just going to read it, and it is in fact Blink. So we found a fat stack of Blink there. I hate that I wasted one, but it's nice to have that available. There's your best resource, people. Scroll of Blinking will take you pretty much out of almost any problem situation instantly. So yeah, some good loot there. Sadly, I could only make use of the Blinks, but I'm not sad. I'm not sad to be walking away with 3 Blink Scrolls. Gonna ignore this Tremor Stones item. I am not a fan. We're gonna assume that's not in the game going forward, at least on this character. Always the good stuff when you can't use it. Yeah, right. Hey, it's Pepe's Food Shop and Zunwa's Gadget Shop. That's evocation items. Spiders would be good. Scatter shots, like a shotgun, is really good with our evocation skill. Clouds is really good. Putting this stuff on my shopping list by holding shift and pressing the key just to give me an idea of what I want to buy later. I think we're not going to buy any of this yet, though, because I would buy the scatter shot if I had the money for it, but I think we're just going to hold off. Scatter shot's a nice save my ass sort of spell, because it can instantly kill things with low AC. Alright, check it out. We're going to preemptively cast the Bog. I really probably shouldn't be casting this with such a high fail rate, because, like, transmutation miscasts are really ugly. Oh wow, it gets significantly longer when you get some spell power to it. That's pretty cool. Also, I can't walk on my own Bog, or else I'm going to have a big problem. I wonder if I had our Poise, if that would protect me as the caster. Since the spell is growing on me, it's pretty cool. You miscast. Oh no! I wonder if they're dumb enough. Yeah, check it out. I'm not in a hallway, but I can still just lure all of them through the Bog. That's so sick. That's really good. Alright, I'm sold. That's a good spell. That's a really good spell. I don't know how much use I'm going to make out of it in most games, because it is kind of an awkward set of schools, but I do like transmutations in general on most characters. I like the fact that this is useful even against things that are resistant to poison, like this slime creature, like this Hydra, in fact. I mean, but it is a level 6 spell with 2 schools, so that represents a very significant kind of investment. And once you're at this point in the game, you're running into a number of things that are straight up immune to poison. Demons, especially undead, you know, so it's worth being careful about. Let's drop the Ring of Stealth. Got another Ring of Wizardry. The double Ring of Wizardry, we have 2 of those on now. That drops my Noxious Fog down to 10% fail rate. And don't forget, we're still training a bit of poisons and transmutations, so we'll get some help. Urug has a +7 Broadaxe. Ouch. Quivering Javelins, so 25 plus whatever damage a Javelin can do. Yeah, so 35 damage, 25 plus 10, 35 minus 2, I guess. It's a lot of range damage, but I can do my little... Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. In this version of the game, in the latest versions of the game, Javelins are all penetrating brand, so I can make my Spire, but it don't matter because he will happily chuck his Javelin through my Spire and directly into my butthole, so that's not going to work. Also, I'm always advocating for shields, but shields do nothing against Javelins now, which is the most asinine, dumbest thing I've heard of in my life, because in real life, shields were basically designed to block projectiles like javelins. You know, you actually had entire types of shields that existed only to stop someone from throwing a sharp stick at you. So it's really dumb, but in DCSS land now, javelins go right through it, so beware of that. What that means is that we're actually at a lot of risk to taking huge damage here, so let's walk backwards. Let's walk backwards more. Okay. Oh, he still has... crap, he still has 3 javelins. 56% chance to paralyze. Let's just do that. It fails. Let's do that. We know we can't die instantly because we have 90 hit points. Okay, that was the 3rd javelin. He's out of javelins now, so I guess I'll just cast the Bog and walk away. Oh, he's smart enough to walk out. So I guess things with a little bit of intelligence will not walk directly into the Bog. They'll treat it like it's a cloud, you know, like a damage cloud of some sort. So you actually have to use a hallway if you want to get good use out of it. Anyway, I just cast Petrify on him. Cannot petrify gargoyles, they're already made of stone, so we'll paralyze him. Easy enough. Good, easy stabs. Another Gadget Emporium. More things I might want, especially this Wand of Acid. Ice Blast, Paralysis is pretty good. Enslavement is amazing. Probably most excited about the Acid. Acid's nice because it does a ton of damage and it reduces the enemy AC temporarily. So if you have good evocations, you're getting some really good damage out of it for sure. And a debuff. Lamp of Fire would be nice to have, but I probably won't buy it because we're likely to find another one and I'm low on money. I'd really like to have that File of Floods, but I know one is sitting on the ground, so it's kind of silly for me to buy. Let's petrify this fella. Nice. Gotta be careful in this little vault, because this stuff is stone, so I can't like dig out of it or anything. I'm just kind of stuck in here. Oh, that's fun. Dagger of Overwhelming Force. It's got plus int on it. And while I don't want to lose, you know, my +5 dagger, it really doesn't matter because I'm killing things by stabbing. And so the damage is so outrageous that I don't need +5 on my weapon. And the other thing is, like, the +5 accuracy also doesn't matter because I'm killing things that are petrified, so they have no evasion anyway. So this is actually awesome. The +4 intelligence on it is going to be way more meaningful than the 5 extra damage and accuracy. That 4 intelligence is going to essentially increase my spell power and my castability on stuff by a lot. Like, look at that. My Bog is now at 7%, in part due to that int. Orc Knights are really tough. They do a lot of damage. Let's petrify and walk away. I've cast it like 7 times. That's insane. Just really, really bad luck, but I'm getting good luck blocking his attacks, so it's no big deal. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. As soon as he gets petrified, we waste him. It's awesome. Auto-explored again. We found the Magic Scroll Shop. Now, if you buy a scroll or potion that has not been identified yet, if it has that little unknown next to it, that automatically identifies it, so it's quite nice. I would kind of like to buy that. Just putting stuff on the shopping list. Mapping, I guess. Yeah, let's get Silence. Silence is going to be really nice. It's nice on pretty much any character. And the reasoning is that if I have a dude next to me who's capable of doing outrageous damage, so let's say an Ancient Lich. Let's say I get horribly unlucky, and I guess I can't be shafted because I'm worshipping Ashenzari, but something happens and there's a Lich next to me. I guess I hit a, I don't know, Zot Trap, which I think is...
Keep the infected away, bro. Rue has Rue gun.
It's Iringia's Noxious Coronavirus is the spell that I've learned in this game. Hey, what's up, Tone Hack? How you doing, buddy? Petrify this and that. Gotta watch out for those mana cores. If I didn't have Petrify, I'd be being a little more careful with them. Also, I let myself get next to that two-headed ogre. I shouldn't have done that. Remember, they can do like 75 damage. But once they're petrified, it's no big deal. Let's cast the Bog. We know this guy can't kill me in one hit. Okay, so he hits me with the club. He dies from the Bog. Cool. I was a little bit too risky there. I shouldn't have... I should not have let myself be next to a two-headed ogre under any circumstances, especially on this character who has no AC. But that's okay. We survived. Oh, right. This is, these guys can't really do damage, these hungry ghosts. They do like 5 damage, but they make you starve. You like my new hat emote? Ah, yes, yes, definitely one of my emotes. This guy is annoying the hell out of me, so let's put up a prism. And another. I can eat chunks of flesh while I'm in combat with him, so it's... hungry ghosts are just kind of a pain. Probably shouldn't be in the game, to be honest. Toxic Bog. See, even if they're smart enough to walk around it, what that effectively has done is created space for me, you know? It's quite nice. But yeah, you're going to see me handling most problems with Petrify at this point. Anything that can't be petrified, like that gargoyle, I'm going to kill with some kind of damage spell or just a Summon Lightning Spire summon. Depending on what's appropriate, you know? Which could be changed by, like, what resistances the enemy has. Like, the gargoyle is resistant to electricity, so the spire is going to do less damage to him. But in general, this is how casters are going to go. You're going to find one thing that works against most of your targets, and that's going to be your bread and butter spell. That's going to be the thing that you bust out. And ideally, you'll be able to tab some stuff. Like, I can just sort of tab into that Centaur Warrior skeleton because it's weak. Or these regular orcs, you know. Save myself some trouble thinking about it. But anything that's remotely threatening, you're going to actually have to cast some spells on. Note how I petrified the Centaur Warrior, because he's relatively threatening, but the Centaurs themselves are just kind of weak at this point, you know. Even though we're using a shoddy +0 dagger. I never gave that two-headed ogre a chance to attack me. I just petrified him, walked away, and as soon as he was done being petrified, just like these mosquitoes, I walked back towards him and do the big damage. Let's identify these potions. We got haste identified, we got magic identified, and cancellation. Hell yeah. Really useful tools. This pig is a great sign that Kirky is nearby. And the fact that I see this, as Ashenzari is telling me, there's a nasty sensed monster, that's Kirky. So we're going to want to be careful of that. Oh god. It's bog time. So this could paralyze me, but the bog will kill it. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Does flying make you immune to the bog? Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Uh-oh. Wouldn't that be a good thing to put into the tooltip? Incredible. I don't think that you can be... Check it out. The sludge damages and poisons all monsters. Doesn't say all monsters that aren't flying. What asshole wrote this? Are you kidding me? No, it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but I'm a little annoyed that it's not in the tooltip. You know, it should explain these things, even if it seems obvious. You know, because a lot of things in DCSS are not obvious and don't necessarily make sense. All right, so this is actually kind of a full-on panic mode situation to some extent. Sting for up to 18 damage, and it's going to attack like twice per round. If it actually gets paralysis on me, I could be paralyzed for like 10 turns. 10 turns of this thing just wailing on me, and I've got no AC, I've got no evasion, I've got no shields, because all that stuff gets turned off except for AC, which I don't have already. Yeah, it's really bad. I could actually die to this thing. So, as dumb as it may seem, I'm going to go for the absolutely guaranteed option of getting away from this thing, which is that I am going to burn one of my precious Scrolls of Blink. Now, I could have feared him, and it probably would have worked, but probably is not good enough for me. Now we're going to do what we should have done originally. But this is what's going to happen when I'm toying with new spells, is I'm going to make mistakes like that, because I didn't know how the bog worked. In a true, you know, non-playing around with new spells type of game, I don't know if I would use this spell too much. I mean, it is strong against what it actually works against, but the fact that it's level 6 and 2 schools kind of makes me... There's just better options, you know. There are some situations where it's going to well and truly dominate, though. Like, this is going to be cool. Alright, check it out. So this Kirky, she can turn me into a pig, although she can't, because I have too much MR, so that's cool. She can use Monstrous Menagerie, which summons really, really tough monsters. She can turn herself invisible, and she can try to slow me and fail. We're gonna bog it up over here. So this is a situation where the bog's pretty cool, I guess. The bog, when you cast it, it does nothing except after you cast it, the turn after that, if you were to move, it starts placing those little bog tiles where you formerly were standing. Which proceed to poison things even if they are resistant to poison. The lightning spire festers in the toxic bog. Uh-oh. So here's a fun little combo. I guess I could put a spire up and it's blocking all the damage, and then these fellas are just kind of screwed inside of the bog. Well, Tumalu, I want that plus int, bro. Crap, that didn't work out too well. Well, it's kind of working. Let's just Mystic Blast these guys backwards. Harpy collides with Kirky. She'll die because she's poisoned as hell, but I'll just, I'll Searing Ray. And that pretty much guaranteed her death. Don't need magical power, as nice as it would be to have. Well, actually, I will wear magical power. I'll wear that over, yeah, we're gonna take off Ring of Ice and Ring of Fire. I'm just gonna drop those. Well, I'll carry them for now in case I really need another Pip of Fire Ice Resist, but yeah, the name more than anything else it is interesting. I could search for Arty and Weapon, and maybe look for something better, but none of it has intelligence, so I don't care. I do care about this War Axe with the resistances, which we swap to if we need Aralek. So check it out. Slime creatures are dumb. They will actually merge with something that's being petrified. Look at that, he merged with something that was petrified. I just stab it to death. It's pretty sick. How are we doing on memorizations, or rather our chance to be able to memorize, and, well, our chance to be able to cast spells? I want to look at Dragon Form. 21% chance to cast Dragon Form right now. That's not terrible. The next patch, merging into Petrification, makes it lose Petrification. Is that true, or are you just... I think you're bamboozling me, my friend. I will not be bamboozled. But I could see them doing that. I wouldn't... Honestly, I wouldn't hate that change. Like, it's a buff to slime creatures. I'm cool with that. They're already quite strong, but slime creatures are strong in a way that you should never die to them unless you're playing really recklessly, so I would be fine with buffing them, to be honest. How did that orc get damaged, I wonder? Oh boy, that's a bolt of lightning. So this fella has lightning bolt. We don't have our elect unless we put this axe on, which we will right now. And now we'll enjoy our beautiful bog. Super dangerous enemy, Ogre Mage. If I didn't have so much MR, I would be kind of scared. But because I do have so much MR, we know he can't paralyze me or slow me or anything, so the only thing I'm really scared of is him casting Crystal Spear on me. But he can't do that at this much range. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a step forward, put up a spire, which I wanted to be a little closer to him. Ideally, I wanted to put it right here, but I didn't get the chance, unfortunately. Let's cast Bog again. Let's just let the spire sort of zap these dudes. This is kind of annoying. Oops, let's... Searing Ray. The spire killed the Ogre Mage, so that's cool. And that's one dead Deep Elf Mage. Alrighty. Bolt of Draining, huh? That's cool. We have our negative. The demon crawlers that he summoned were a little bit risky, but it's okay. Whoa! Tons of damage possible here. Put a spire here to block some of that. And we'll start... put another spire here to block some of that. Take a step. Okay. Tons of damage could happen here. 16 plus, well, he's not using a short bow, so just 16 damage times 2, because he'll possibly attack twice, so we cannot die. It's time to bust out a little bit in the way of resources. Let's try to paralyze him at 56%, and we succeed. Playing way too risky. We shouldn't have stuck around this fight too much. If you see me going below half health, I've almost definitely made some kind of bad mistake. And you should internalize that. It's especially true on casters, because casters are so fragile. If you're too far below max hit points, you messed up somewhere. Most likely. Then it's just a matter of, like, how careful do you want to play, you know? Died to Crystal Spear from the Wizard today. Yep, very dangerous stuff. Gotta be careful. This is a vault that leads to the vaults, actually. Use this bog. So it's a little bit awkward to use. Why is he not taking damage? Okay, there we go. Also, I think that was a lightning bolt. Yeah, it was, so we'll swap to the X. Let's check this out. Deep Elf Knights are in the Elven Vaults, or Elven Halls. And they can do a good bit of damage with their Icicle, and I guess they've been given a new book with Stone Arrow and Force Lance now. That's obnoxious. But they fall to Petrify like anything else, really. Anything else with bad MR. Putting up these spires to sort of guard my retreat, you know? Completely blocking arrows unless they unless they get destroyed. Your bad mistake is being bad. Oh, Nani Badger. Oh, my feelings, bro. Okay, so Spire goes here to block the arrows. Sadly, this skeletal warrior, he has very good MR. So while I could petrify, say, the centaur warrior, it's not super likely that I petrify this skeletal warrior for now. 14%. I mean, if I casted the spell enough times, it would work. Put a spire here. Okay, good. Alrighty, we have a scroll of remove curse. I could curse an item. I could curse another ring. I could curse the other ring of wizardry, which I probably don't want to take off for the time being. Could be annoying if we find a really good ring. Let's see. Ashenzari currently giving me 3 points. Let's see if I can get some more. 9.6 to 12.1, that's closer to 2 points, like 2.5 points. Alright, we will curse the Ring of Wizardry. That did not increase, unfortunately, the amount of skill points I'm getting in my spells. That's okay, though. Auto-explore. Sad thing about dragon form is even when we get it online, all that training that we did on this shield is kind of wasted, you know. Speaking of that, let's take that to 15. It's not wasted, I mean, once we find statue form, if we find statue form, it'll be handy. That's D13. Let's keep going. Oh boy, Tengu Conjurers. Wonderful. This is more stuff than I'd like to fight, so let's try a different staircase. Actually, I want to check. Dragon form, 14%. That's not bad. That's not bad. I do wish I had statue form, but that's not bad. And if I really wanted to, we could bust out Hydra form right now. Not so sure about that. I can show that off real quick. We have enough amnesia that I can screw around a little bit with my spells. Let's get rid of this bog. I had my fun with it, but I mean, in an ordinary game, I would not have wasted 10 points of training into poison magic. Just to test this thing out. It's alright. There are games where you'd want to use this thing. I don't think this is one where I really care about it. And I don't think it's really good enough for me to deviate from the plan that I have for this character. Why not Hydra form? Because it's like a really bad dragon form, essentially. I mean, here, I'll learn it real quick. Is there anything I want to get rid of? Not really. Okay, so I'm a Hydra now. One fun fact is that my intelligence from the dagger actually applies to the spell, so I get more spell power from using that. So I lose my shield, so that defense goes away. I lose my hat, so I lose 2 points of MR, so it's melding really important item slots, which stat form does not do, for starters. On top of that, basically my defenses suck, and when I attack, I'm biting them, and I'm doing okay damage, I guess, but not nearly enough. Whereas if I had hit him as a dragon, he would have just freaking died, you know? Petrify, petrify. Petrify. Like, I can do this. I can fight this stuff. Oh, what? Right. I shouldn't complain too much because I don't have, I just remembered, I don't have any unarmed combat. Yeah, that'll make my attacks suck. Let's train that, yeah. Alright, let's do this, let's do the form justice before we poop on it. Let's actually talk about, you know, what it can actually do. It's not a fair showing if you have 0 unarmed training. Dragon form would still do better, though, for the record. with 0 unarmed training. Let's go up. I don't want to be next to a Hydra at this point. Doing a little bit of stair dancing. Pretty standard thing to do in this game is to dance from one staircase to the other, killing things sort of piecemeal here and there until eventually the staircase looks less ugly to you, or the floor looks less ugly to you. Check it out, the Hydra's petrified. I can trust for maybe like 5 turns he'll be petrified, so walk up and stab him. Aren't they talking about you can only train a weapon if you have it equipped? You can only train spells if you use failed, and that's got to be a joke. That's how it used to work like a million years ago, and it was really dumb. I've not heard them talking about that. If they did, if they implemented that, I would, as much as I am just totally prepared to deride their ability to develop this game intelligently, that one I don't think is going to happen. But maybe they've all got the coronavirus and it's given them brain damage. I don't know. It's possible. Isn't Hydra better than nothing? I'm going to go with no, because Hydra takes away my shield. That was 10 years ago. Yeah. Alright, Hydra form with 4 unarmed combat. Look at me taking a very long time to kill a gargoyle. Hold up. Let's get out of line of sight. Put up a spire. Put up a prism. Throw as many rocks as you want at me. The spire will block them. This is a shame. So Louise has showed up. She can't banish me because I have too much MR, but she will step right on that alarm trap. Even if I take a step away, she's pretty likely. I mean, I know she hasn't seen me. It says has a little question mark. She's distracted, but she very well probably will step right on that alarm trap. So the only thing I can do to avoid that happening is to use a fog scroll, and, well, I could use a fear, but we're going to use a fog scroll and hope that it blocks the line of sight. And it did, and because we can't see her stepping on it, it doesn't mark us. And we know that she stepped on it because, well, you can see it right there with Ashenzari's power. So now we back off. Goodbye. Switch to the axe to get the Arlek. Fulminant Prism right here, because she'll try to go around. And then what? I guess I will Searing Ray in this direction, and she'll start coming around, and eventually this thing will... Wow, she didn't come around at all. Louise says, I'm not feeling very well. What? Does she have the coronavirus? Why is she not feeling well? It's not good. Alright, well, if she wants to just duke it out with my spire repeatedly, that's fine. Oh, she's just gonna walk right through it. That's adorable. Okay, well, we'll do this then. Kind of running myself out of mana, but that's fine. If I well and truly run out of mana, I will, yeah, I'm out of mana. We have plenty of wands. This is what the wands are for. We also have this lightning rod, which I'll just use. Doot. Doot. She goes down. That'll recharge. That's fine. She has a large shield, or a tower shield as they've been renamed. I don't really care about that right now. Petrify these two fellas. Get the stabs, get the stabs. Go into Hydra form and see how we do against Yaks. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of like having an axe and no armor at all. I mean, 10 points of AC. It's certainly better AC than our Octopode currently has. I mean, yeah, that's nice, but... Oh, God. See, look at this. Like, 44 damage possible from fighting 2 of them. It's not as much of an all-purpose, you know, problem solver as I'd like it to be. Dragon form certainly is not an all-purpose problem solver, but it's way more of one than Hydra form because I mean, yeah, it's fragile, but you just one-shot everything, you know? It's really, really sick, to be honest. Okay, we tried to cast Petrify several times. It didn't work. Now I have the misfortune of walking through all this crap. Whoops. That Hellwing might cause an issue. It will jump around me and stop me from running. So we'll rest up on this floor and go to another one. Kobold Pack, I don't care about them. I will actually petrify the Demonologists, I guess. Spire here. Dazzle Flash will not affect my Spire. It does not have eyeballs. But a Hydra can just eat it. That's cool. Okay, we got the blind on the Hydra. That's awesome. Should I try to stab him? That would be kind of silly, I think. Let's just walk away. Let's do the smart thing. I thought about going right up to him and trying to stab him while he's blind, but that's like 100-some damage he can do to me, so I'm not going to run the risk for no reason when I can just stare dance instead. Go for the Petrify. It eventually works. Takes effect. We stab him to death. Really straightforward. Does Hydroform get more heads? Yeah, but it's basically just for show. I mean, it... Hold on. It gets more heads the more spell power you have. And I think that... The thing is, like, you don't get more attacks for each head. I think it's just, like, representative of how much extra damage you do. Because I think that no matter what, your heads will strike out in every single direction like an axe. It's not like you need 8 heads to attack all 8 tiles. I don't think. I'd have to look it up, though, to be sure about what the damage formula actually is. I am positive that you don't get multiple attacks. Like, if I attack, you know, it's just a regular attack. No, you cannot attack one target 8 times. That's the sad thing. That's what I'm trying to say that's so unfortunate about this form. I mean, if you could actually get 8 attacks on one thing, like, man, that would be fun. That might make the form worth using. Damn. That would be, like, really good versus things that have low defense, you know? Hey, it's Rupert. One of the most terrifying early game uniques. He can paralyze you, he can go berserk and do a shitload of damage to you with his weapon. Can't paralyze me because I've had the fortune of finding the Bear Spirit hat. However, that means I really don't want to be in Hydra form around him. So let's put up a Spire. Let's put up a Prism. This is a good Phantom Mirror target, but we're going to try to avoid using resources if we don't have to. Petrify him? His MR is pretty good, 14% chance for the Petrify to get through, so that's not ideal. I mean, we could try, and it might eventually work. We could stand on it, like, what we could do is we could stand on a staircase, sit here doing this, and there you go, it eventually worked. Okay, so if he berserks, it's no big deal. Because he's going to get turned to stone, and he did get turned to stone. And he dies easily. 14% might as well be 100% if you have infinite tries. Oh, it's our boy Dickie Longcocking, my favorite guy. We don't have our poise, and he has Mephitic Cloud, so we are not going to open up this vault. Technically, there's a hand axe of our poise inside this, and a ring as well, but that other vault is filled with garbage too. Use the battle axe. I'm not going to use the battle axe and Zerk on this character. It's also a stone giant quivering 5 large rocks for a solid 65 damage a pop. So I think this vault gets ignored. We may come back when we have stat form. If we get stat form. Dragon form would probably do it too. Okay, I have 7 scrolls of enchant armor. I'm just going to drop these here, and we're going to tell the game not to pick them up anymore. Hey, poison resist. Hell yeah. It's good to have. Okay, I cannot Cannot petrify this water elemental. I can just slap him around, and in Hydroform I'm immune to his engulf, so that's kind of cool. I can cast spells if I want to in Hydroform, like we just petrified this dude. But I'm hitting him for much less damage because I'm not stabbing him, although I'm still doing pretty good damage. Notice I killed him and I didn't get hit points back. I think there is only a chance to devour things for hit points, which is another thing that makes Hydroform so stupid. Look at all these low damage attacks. You feel, see, you hungrily devour the two-headed ogre, you feel better. I will say that they took the time to make that make you less hungry, so I do like that. I like that actually makes you less hungry. I have to give them props. Like that is good. Training more unarmed combat. That manual is really getting some sick use, you know. Why does Bite X7 show up? It's just for show. I mean, it's just an indicator of how much extra damage you're getting. Like, I'm gonna look this up now so we can put it to bed because now I'm curious. Level 6 form that gives you spell power / 10 heads randomly rounded, and cleaving as long as you have more than one head. Foes smaller than you are devoured then killed. Okay. Oh, that's why I couldn't eat the Hydra, actually. Okay, so it's not a chance, it's just size. Hydroform actually gives you our poise. I forgot about that. Here we go. It affects the base damage. Base damage is 2 + 3 times a minimum of heads and 10. So I'm not getting any extra base damage unless I have more than 10 heads. So we're not even getting any effect out of that. I think. Oh, wait, no, there's a second part of the formula. +3 divided by 2 / max of 0. Heads -10. Uh-huh, okay. Oh, does that say min? It does say min, not max. Oh! No. Minimum of 7 and 10. Is that... Did I just hit my head and... Yeah, max gives you the highest thing. Yeah, okay, you're right. I'm a computer scientist. I should not have to think so hard about this. I've just been playing too much DCSS. Anyway, basically the bottom line is that Dragonform does not have this wacky damage formula. It just kind of does a crap load of damage no matter what your spell power is, which is one of the reasons I like it so much. What is this? Melee Zombie. Wow, that's a new tile for her. I'm meleeing, I'm sort of getting my ass beaten. He's getting petrified. We'll put a spire here. Ouch. Got him. I guess that I'm not bigger than ugly things. Is that the case? Put up the spire. Whoa. This is dangerous. Let's fear this stuff. Did he just stop being frightened? Oh, yeah. It's because he probably ran into an enemy. Alright. Playing like a madman. Let's use another blink. This is really, really bad. Really bad use of resources just because I'm fooling around with... fooling around with Hydroform. Also, another little bit of bad luck. We found almost no healing potions. I think we found all of one. So that means we don't have any right now. It's very interesting. Who's just a fool. Alright, you already made that joke. Okay, let's let's take a step so that he will not be able to see me while I do this. Do have 11 curing. We're going to chug a few of these. I don't know if I still have time to dig this out, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I can do that. I can go here, and this will get him closer to me at least. And then we can just put a spire here. Sick. Alright, then we can put a fulminant prism here. And this should resolve my issue. What a massive use of resources, like 4 curing potions and a blink scroll. All because I am wanting to mess around with Hydra form. Too bad Regen doesn't exist anymore, or this situation would be less annoying. Okay, we're gonna back off from all this. Petrify, petrify, good. Let's kill all this stuff. That's an orc pack, or an ogre pack, rather. Okay, let's just put prism here and then walk away. Just kind of keep placing prisms. Because I don't want to be next to this stuff. I mean, I'm okay with being next to one two-headed ogre if he's petrified, but not if it means I have to duke it out with more right afterwards. Put a spire here to block almost anything this mage can do, then back off. Just let the spire do work for me here. I'll make a prism now. Make another prism. We know what book he has now. We saw him do the fireball. He does, in fact, have the crystal spear, so we really, really don't want him next to us. Cool. Very good. Anyway, now that we've kind of done the treatise on why Hydra form is bad, let's talk about why Dragon form is good. We're going to amnesia off Hydra form. We're going to learn Dragon form. This is going to be our go-to thing to kill stuff. Yeah. Now, it gives you RF++, but it also gives you RC-, so you really want to have at least one source of RC+, ideally 2. While that thing is affecting you, but we have a ring of ice on top of our ring of protection from cold, so it's not terrible. We just might have to do a little swapping. This Hornet is terrifying, but he's being petrified, so it's okay. Sure wish I had Blink spell. That'd be useful for this situation. See, we petrified the Deep Elf Mage, but it's a fire elemental here. 2 of them who are in my way. Nice. Okay, this Ogre Mage could have lightning could have Crystal Spear, so we make the Lightning Spire to block that. It's not bad. Except, wow, he has his own little lightning magic. Yep, so we switch to the War Axe to get our Elec. The Spire just kind of finished it for us. Can't really petrify the Ogre Mages like you can, but it's a low probability. 25% is really not bad, but the problem is that, like, unlike the other stuff that I was doing low probability petrifies on, they can do pretty decent damage to me at range. So it's not exactly free. Petrify these big boys. stab them. And by the way, with dragon form, it's not going to be wasted, the fact that we can petrify things, because, trust me, we'll one-shot things with dragon form, even though it's not technically a stab. Hey, let's see if we can get some nice sleep stabs. One? Oh no, our stealth and our short blades were just not quite high enough to get the kill stab on this thing, even though it was a sleep stab. Oh no, the humanity. Alright, that's fine. Normally I wouldn't want to cast dragon form if this is red or yellow. We're going to start training transmutations up to like 20 again. Yeah, normally I wouldn't do this, but I just want to go ahead and show it off. The reason I wouldn't want to do it is because transmutations miscasts can just straight up mutate you. But we'll take the risk, just to show this off. Yeah, it is ironic. Desert, also, how you doing, man? We had mutation potions, and we didn't need dragon form to win this fight, but I just want to show off how good it is. So, as a level 8, or excuse me, level 7 spell with one school, I mean, yeah, it's a high level, but it's only one school, so it's pretty easy to learn as far as high level spells go, and it's just really good. So let's look at our resistances. I have RF++ and RC- now from the dragon form. So you add my RC+ from the ring, and you add my RF+ from this ring, you end up with RF+++ and RC null, which is okay. And if I see anything that can do cold damage while I'm in dragon form, I'll pop on my Ring of Ice and fix that. Or I could just wear my Ring of Ice all the time. The problem with that is I would be RF null without dragon form, so kind of choices to make. Alright, so we have 17 AC compared to the 10 AC that we had in Hydra form. I assume my evasion was about the same, I don't remember. My shields goes to 0, just like in Hydra form. But the difference is so big in the attack. Check it out. 1 attack, 1 kill. 1 attack, I missed, that's okay. We attack, we take down almost all of his hit points in 1 hit. You maul the Skeletal Warrior, 3 exclamation points, you destroy the Skeletal Warrior. I'm just beating ass. I'm just beating ass with this thing. And yeah, my defenses are not great, but my hit points are huge. And unlike the Hydra form, I can pretty much rely on this thing to crush my enemies and see them driven before me. So it's really, really quite good. Now, I've been talking about something called statue form as well. And that's the more defensive form, and we'll get to that. Hopefully we'll get to that. Crap. This is some very powerful ranged attack stuff. So we're going to walk away from it. We put up spires and stuff to stop them from doing too much damage to me while I walked away. And then we walk out this door and we close the door. Okay, put up a spire just to get him ready to do some damage for us. Screw it, let's go dragon form. Alright, so we would take a lot of damage from these dudes, but now the distance is closed. So I'm just going to start beating ass again. Boom, boom. Oh, by the way, another thing I can do in dragon form is if I press A, I have the ability to breathe fire, which is not really that relevant, but it's like having Bolt of Fire without training for it. Boom. Nice little ranged attack. Look how much damage we got, though part of that was the spire. Attack him and he dies. So we're just running wild now in this form. It's great. Why don't we take spellcasting up to 10? Because the spell hunger on dragon form is basically as high as it can get right now, and we'd like to reduce that if possible. In fact, I'll take that to like 15. Now beware, because you may feel really strong as a dragon, but trust me, you're still susceptible to certain things. You know, you will still die to damage. You are not very defensive. Alright, so we finished up dungeon, and so our MR, as long as we keep this little hat on, is amazing. We know for a fact that Orc Sorcerers cannot paralyze us. You know, !/M to look things up. Orc Sorc, look it up. 0% paralyzed. See it right here. So, we know we're safe to go in here. With that said, it might be a good sign that, like, I don't want to be in dragon form unless I know there's no sorcerers around, you know? took a little look around and we saw there were no sorcerers. If one shows up, I will just leave dragon forms, no big deal. But yeah, look at us just chewing through all this stuff. It's a little risky in terms of, like, I could take some damage here. But honestly, even if I look at our sorcerers right now, it's only a 13% chance, even in dragon form, and it's a one-turn action to untransform, so I'm not super worried. It's not really a risk I recommend you take, but I mean, as long as I only take start fights outside of dragon form, I should be fine. We can actually just melee most of this stuff. We're pretty over-leveled for Orc at this point. Okay, I'm gonna dig through here, even though I could go down and back up to get here, and the reason is because I could be surrounded by some really ugly nonsense. Like, for example, if I had come down and come back up, this sorcerer here could have immediately bolted me for good damage. This warlord here, you know, like, let's look at him. Quivering 20 bolts. Okay, so he could just, like, shoot my ass with a crossbow at the same time. I could have taken like 100 damage from those two things. It could happen. But instead I'm taking no damage, because I'm going to take this fight at range, as I should. Alright. Kite this stuff. This would be a good place for the bog. Too bad I amnesia'd it, bro. 44%. Just put up a spire here. That won't fight off screen, unfortunately. Hello, Senshi. How you doing, my friend? We're going to try to get the Petrify on this dude, and we get it. Okay, we get it. Whoa! Ogre hits you with the giant club for big damage. Get petrified already, bro. This is annoying. It's because these things are mighted. Petrify him, or paralyze him with the wand. I really want to kill this Orc Warlord. Oh god, he's no longer petrified. Okay, a bit of a mistake here. Let's walk away. Now, I'm carefully going to walk like this. Why did I do this? Why did I go directly here? It's because the ogre is stopping him from shooting his crossbow at me for the moment. With that said, this is looking to be an ugly situation. Sure wish I had learned Cause Fear. That would be nice here. Or, you know, the experience that went into Poison probably should have gone into Translocation so I could get Summoned Forest online. Whoops, that's okay though. Just showing some stuff off. We will burn a Fear Scroll. Yep. Those things all have bad magic resistance. We don't really need a lot of fear on this character at this point because we're so strong, and I could always just learn Cause Fear whenever I feel like it. Why don't we go ahead and Amnesia off Mystic Blast, because that spell sucks ass. And we're either going to learn Cause Fear or we're going to learn Summon Forest. Summon Forest I'll get more use out of, but Cause Fear is going to help me get out of bad situations more, so we'll get that. It's like having infinite Fear Scrolls. Okay, he's being petrified. Okay, so I need to kill these guys piecemeal, you know? I need them to get taken out so I can focus on just one dude at a time, right? So stab, stab, and walk away. Shoot your crossbow at me if you must. Oh, that's a dead end. Whoops. Put up a spire here. I can probably just melee this dude. Okay, cool. We're going to try to get the Petrify on this guy again. It's not a bad chance, 44%. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to start. I'm going to start going. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Once we had the time to actually get the attacks in. He also had a plus 10. Yeah, he had a plus 10 plate armor, so it's going to block a good bit of damage even from stabs. It's one of the reasons he didn't die the first time. That, and we didn't have enough attacks. Alrighty, let's go down here. we see that all 3 downstairs are visible, so we've been to the whole floor. Okay, there's Blork the Orc. I do kind of want to get Summon Forest online as well, by the way, but we're out of Amnesia Scrolls. One is for sale on D12, so we could go buy that. I want to forget Dazzling Flash, actually, which will free up 3 spell levels. I almost want to forget Fulminate Prism, but it's still pretty useful. But yeah, Summon Forest would be really handy here, just slaughter all this stuff. Let's just back off. All these staircases are in the same place, so that's something to, unfortunately, we're going to have to keep in mind. Crap, they blew up my prism. One thing I could do here is I could use Emo. That'd be pretty cool. Boom, 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 boom. Just blows up everything once one thing explodes. Well, basically it means that when something dies, it will explode in fire and do like 3d20 damage, or more if it's bigger or less if it's a smaller creature, but 3d20 for regular-sized creatures. So it's a very powerful... Scrolls of Immolation are very powerful for dealing with groups, but also dangerous. Let's just... yeah, Searing Ray. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Leaves these nice little clouds behind, which will do even more damage in addition to the original explosion, you know. Alright, just come back up now to the safe floor, and we're going to go to a different staircase, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to see this is the one closest to the wall, farthest away from that vault where all that crap spawned from, so that's the one we chose to go to. Ouch, that's a lot of damage. Let's go up. Okay, let's go back down. A little bit dangerous there, like we could have run it, like been surprised by some extra orcs, you know, that did really good damage. But we have tools. We have tools to get out of bad situations. We still got Blink Scrolls. We've got Fear. We've got Cause Fear, you know, which is kind of a tool that you can use to just escape bad situations as long as they're not so bad that you need a guaranteed way out, you know. I would like to go Dragon Form, but I know there's a sorcerer over there. So it's a bit risky. Whoa, that is Nergal, and she spawned. Well, we got all the unique orcs today. I wonder if Roka's in here too. So Blork is easy. He's just a really low-level orc. Nergal's a little different though. She spawned with a freaking wand of clouds. Wonder if Ebering ever fixed his horribly funny and embarrassing code bug that causes them to use their clouds, and then instead of using them on you, they just sort of use them in your general direction and then walk into their own clouds and die. Willing to bet that that's still how that works. It's effectively just item destruction. Alright, we'll put up a prism. So yeah, Nergal's a big deal. She can summon spectral orcs and bolt you with good damage. I mean, she's not bad. I would actually like to kill her as soon as possible, or at least petrify her. There we go, it's starting. Because I don't want her to waste the Wand of Clouds. Wand of Clouds is really nice. I see that she's got a little sorcerer friend coming, so instead of approaching, I'm just going to use the prism, and it takes her ass down. Legend of Strider says that Orcus killed him more than early game due to underestimating some of the orcs. Oh, that's not uncommon. I think that Orc is one of the most deceptively simple areas in the game, where you think you're going to have just a grand old easy time, but there's about a million ways that this that this floor can screw you over if you don't know what you're doing. Also, Jorgren just came into view. That is one of the most powerful uniques in the entire goddamn game, and here he is in a relatively early part of the game. That's unfortunate. We're going to have to be real clever about the way that we fight him. Possibly. This little dwarf friend here. +2 Robe of Magic resists. Insult to injury. We're definitely not petrifying him. 0%. He can petrify us, which is not a problem because we have enough MR. He can use Rapid Decon, which will blow up walls. Well, it won't blow up walls, but it'll explode the walls. It'll make the... I mean, it's called Deconstruction, but because the head dev had a bone to pick, basically, he changed it to where it doesn't break walls anymore. Instead, it just causes an explosion around a wall that it does no damage to the wall whatsoever, so it's kind of a badly named spell now. The point is it does a lot of damage if you don't have AC, and we don't have AC. He's also got Iron Shot, which can just straight up do a shitload of damage to me. Most importantly, he has Grasping Roots, which is the monster version of Vile Clutch, which will damage me and work to stop me from moving some of the time. It's all really terrifying. Yeah, his Iron Shot does almost 90 damage maximum. That's almost all my hit points. This is really a good time to use some resources, you know. I think I know how I want to handle him. But I need this to not be a complicated situation. I need that to happen first. So I'm going to shout a bit. We're going to try to lure him. There he is. Okay, good. Alright, so he can't do anything to me as long as I just walk away, right? Right? And then, Dragon Form. Boom! Roar, 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 roar. Come to me. And I can actually see him coming because of Ashenzari. Roar, roar. Come on over, buddy. Come on, buddy. Okay, he's stupid and can't tell where I am. That's okay. We're just going to go ahead and burn the Silent Scroll. Come out. And now all his dumbass can do is slap me around with his quarterstaff. Meanwhile, I am devouring him. Alright, so I didn't want to spend any turns in range of him with the dragon where he could cast spells, because my MR is lower. Like, if I were to look him up, I know he's dead, but if I were to look him up, he can actually petrify me, you know, in dragon form, because my hat went away. So I used the Scroll of Silence first, and that extended the range of this little aura that made him unable to cast spells. It's pretty good. And I think Jorgren, you know, the fact that he can just cast that sort of bullshit Grasping Roots spell to stop me from moving justified the use of a really good resource like Silence. I don't feel bad at all about using a resource to deal with that fight. That's what resources are for. There was no safe way, absolutely no 100% safe way to try to fight him without using some kind of resource, I promise you. And there's other ways we could have gone about it. Like, we could have used a Scroll of Summoning, and maybe we would have got enough good orcs to just have them sort of surround him and tear him apart. But that's still a resource, you know? We could have gone for, like, tried to Vulnpera, but that would have just made me susceptible to petrification, although I suppose I could have canceled that off at that point. It would have been questionable. And with the amount of damage that he can do, I just wasn't about to take any risks, you know? What we did there was a 0% chance of that failing. Because, well, there was a very tiny chance, I guess, that I could have swung on him with the dragon and had it fail every single time. Like, I could have just missed. I would have had to have missed with the dragon something like 5 to 10 times for that to have gone badly. And if that started to happen, I could have just started using Saxo Spiders or something to get myself out of that situation. So, because you get a good little long while with the Silent Scroll, you know? It's not bad. Ah, Memed on, the Boots of the Ant. No feet, so we can't get the sick Arlek from that. What a shame. What a shame. Alright, that's fine. Orc represents a great place for most characters because you or a great opportunity, I should say, it represents, because there are 4 shops in the bottom, and you might find your endgame weapon. Like if I was a regular dude and I found this trident, I might be real excited. Right now I just kind of hope it has int on it. I don't really care about it though. The fact that it's an endgame weapon, I couldn't really care less. Jewelry shops, I mean, this could be great for my Octopode. Nothing really particularly amazing in here. I guess the +2 evasion's okay. What I would really be looking for in here is, like, if I hadn't found any really good spells yet. I mean, this character, I'm happy with the spells I've got, but, like, I'd be happy to find something like Stat Form. But if I hadn't found good spells, you know, if I hadn't found Dragon Form, if I hadn't found the Necronomicon, which definitely is a potential path, if I hadn't found any of that stuff, I go into Orc, and there's a 1 in 4, you know, or there's a 1 in 4 chance. I mean, that's not really 1 in 4, but there's a chance for each shop that it could be a bookshop. So, if you can safely do Orc, it's the best. It is the place you want to be. You want to do Orc as early as possible, as long as you can do it safely. Which safely usually involves having a lot of magic resistance, so you can't be paralyzed. And the ability to survive a stone giant throwing a rock at your head, which involves having at least 65 hit points. Because sometimes stone giants do spawn in here, and it's a horrible thing. We have a lot of gold now. I could start burning this a bit. I could burn a little bit of money. I could stop being stingy. +2 evasion would be kind of nice. I'd probably wear that over magical power, I guess. Small but present sort of advantage. It's also cursed, which is ordinarily a mild annoyance, but in my case it's actually good. Yeah, we'll get rid of magical power. Still only 2.5 skill. Sucks. Hopefully I can get better rings, and ideally I find a gigantic stack of remove curse so I can be comfortable with switching items out and cursing them as much as I want. It's another reason why it's uncomfortable to play an Octopode of Ashenzari. Alrighty, I'll roll the dice on this trident. It gets identified because of Ashenzari. It is a cursed demon trident with Vorpal, Poise, and Dex +4. Meh. I was hoping for, like, int +10, you know, or maybe some insane resistances. Resistances and int +10. But as it stands, I just don't care about that item. Worth a shot, though. Alright, okay. Run to some other things on the old shopping list. I'll just buy everything. I'll even buy Remove Curse, why not? I'll buy Amnesia, hell yeah. I'm not thinking too much about what resources I want to buy because this guy is doing so well. Forget Dazzling Flash. Let's memorize Summon Forest. Okay, I don't have any translocations trained. So we're going to train a little bit, up to 5, and most of that's going to get paid for by our boy, well, I guess our girl Ashenzari. Totally good. So we're going to immediately, as soon as we get a little bit of experience, we're going to see a huge bump in the castability of Summon Forest. And it's just a really nice spell. We also want to get Deflect Missiles at some point. It's not like super high on my list of things that I want, but I would like to have it. It would be very helpful where we're going, actually, in the near future versus stuff in Swamp. But anyway, we have to decide. Now we have to decide, what are we doing? Where are we going? You know, we've done Orc, we've done Dungeon, all the easy choices are basically gone. Technically, we could go into Depths, Swamp, Spider, or Slime right now. Or Elf. Can't go into Vaults because we don't have a rune. Now, Depths is a dumb idea almost all the time. Slime is a dumb idea at this point of the game, almost all the time. We don't even have a rune yet, you know. Elf is like an option, but typically not what you want to do at this point. This character could actually make Elf work. When I'm thinking about what I want to do in terms of like, do I want to do Elf yet? And Elf is a great place to be if you can get the loot. There's a giant pile of loot at the bottom. It's great to get. You want it as soon as you can get it. But it's hard to do it safely. And when I'm thinking about, do I want to do Elf, I'm thinking about, like, can I get out of the worst case scenarios in Elf? And there are certain tools that let you get out of the worst case scenarios in Elf. I think about, like, okay, I'm next to an Annihilator, and if he gets a max damage LCS on me, I die. What do I do? So there's some tools, I call them outs, that you can use to deal with that. Like, I could use Silence. Guaranteed, he will not do LCS to me. He could attack me, and that could be a whole different problem if my health is low enough, but he cannot cast spells. Scattershot, virtually guaranteed. Not guaranteed, but virtually guaranteed to kill the guy immediately, thereby ending the threat. So that's a solution. Dig Wand lets you get those situations to be that good in the first place, where they're right next to you, and you can use those tools a little more easily. For example, Scattershot is no longer a virtually guaranteed problem solver if the thing is like 3 tiles away from you instead of 1 tile. It's just the nature of the wand. It does less damage that way. So it's nice to have a dig wand in Elf, as long as you can be aware of things that can screw up your kill holes, of course, like Deep Elf Elementalists. Things like Ice Blast are nice. It's not going to kill things instantly, usually, but it will do good damage to them, and it will bypass any evasion, so it's pretty likely to kill a hurt elf, so you can use that in a situation where you're not about to die, but it is going to be a situation where it's like you might have a problem soon if you don't solve the fight ASAP. Lightning Rod's a good item in there. It's virtually guaranteed to do some damage, which certainly adds up quickly, because remember, elves don't have that much in the way of hit points. So like, I feel really confident on this dude about killing elves fairly fast, This guy also has Summon Forest available to him now. That beats the hell out of everything. It also solves your fairly defensive animated weapon problem, where they have really good evasion and are resistant to a lot of elemental types. You're not going to, for example, you're not really going to bolt to fire an animated sword to death, because they're either resistant or they might even be immune to fire damage, and other elemental damage types. So you got to have some kind of physical way of killing them. So Summon Forest would do that. Dragon Form would certainly do that. Fulminate Prism would be an amazing tool for that, because it bypasses their evasion and just does damage. Fulminate Prism in general just slaughters stuff in Elf, so we can do it. With that said, it's almost never the right decision, even if you're feeling confident, to roll into Elf at this point, because I have no runes, and it's just going to be safer for me to go into a lair branch, most likely. It's not always true, but like 99 times out of 100 it's going to be true. So for this character, my weakness is that I don't have any AC, and even in Dragon Form, I don't really have any AC. I have like 17, and I don't have any guaranteed damage reduction, so it's not that good. I'd actually rather have my high evasion and my high, reasonably high shields than have the AC that Dragon Form is giving me. So my defenses are bad no matter what I do. If I had Stat Form, that'd be different. So what this tells me is I really probably don't want to go into Spider Nest, because Spider Nest is all about sending 5 million little spider guys to surround you and just whoop your ass. And that would be very bad for this character. Additionally, if I were to get like Tarantella confused, well, actually that can't happen because I'm under Ashenzari, but if that were to happen, if I wasn't worshipping Ashenzari, it'd be really bad, because my defenses, my SH would drop to 0, so then my, even that defense would be dropped. SH is not as good in Spider Nest as it is in some other places, because there are so many attacks at the same time that it kind of overwhelms your ability to block, because your block chance goes down for each thing you've blocked that turn. So we don't want to be in Spider. It's not really a good idea. Swamp is going to be okay for us. The one thing I am scared of in Swamp, there's 2 things I'm scared of in Swamp. One is Thorn Hunters, which can They can do a good bit of damage at range, although we'll probably block that with our shield. And the other more important one is Shambling Mangroves, which have that same bullshit Grasping Roots spell that Jorgen has, that just kind of locks you in place, and if you try to move, it might fail. You're effectively constricted. You're taking damage every turn. Really, really bad for my fragile little Octopode. How do I butcher the pronunciation of so many words? I don't know. Just special, I guess. What did I mispronounce? Shambling Mangrove. That I know I didn't do that wrong. Thorn Hunter. What did I mispronounce? I'm actually at a loss as to what I could have said wrong there. I know you don't like how I say shaman. But I'll just claim to be ESL. I'll just say that English is my second language. Oh, because I said Tarantella. Well, do I have news for you, my friend? I am aware that something called a tarantula exists, but in this case, I'm gonna revel in how right I am here. A tarantella is an entirely different thing. It's a folk dance. And the idea, this is actually a joke, I think. I don't think there's a spider called a tarantella. This is called a tarantella because it causes the victims to break into a frenzied dance. So the idea is that, like, that's what's happening when you're confused when they bite you. So, although I understand that you would assume it's tarantula because that's the actual spider, this is the tarantella. Funny little joke, I guess. Anyway, I can't believe you thought that I was pronouncing tarantula as tarantella. Wouldn't that at least be tarantula? Usk should have an interaction with them. Oh yeah, they should be like friendly or something. Yeah, you do eat your words today. See, now you have to buy 5 subs now as punishment. No, that's okay. They should be. They are found in Usk vaults, actually. There's a very terrifying Usk vault where you can go down the stairs and into what's basically like this little elevator room with a bunch of tarantellas and other assorted, brutally dangerous enemies. I think there might be some killer clowns in there, too. It's really spooky. And there's Usk vaults, or Usk altars sitting around. Anyway, the bottom line is I think this character goes to Swamp. And if I meet any Shambling Mangroves, then, and I probably will, then I treat them like a super duper top tier threat. And how we will deal with them is probably we will use positioning to have them have as few turns. Well, actually, come to think of it, the other problem with Mangroves is when you do damage to them, they poop out hornets, which can paralyze you. So we don't want to be close to them until that happens. I don't think it can happen more than once. So instead, what this character will probably do is damage them at range, and now that we have Summon Forest, we can do that pretty easily. We can just Prism and Summon Forest them, and Summon Forest is actually broken as hell in Swamp because all the walls are actually trees in Swamp, and they all go enraged and do damage to your enemies. It'll be great. So I'm not afraid of this place at all. Rogue Shenanigans is asking me if Swamp was Shoals, what would I do? Okay, so if Swamp was Shoals, I would have skilled this character differently. I would not have fooled around with the I would not have fooled around with that new Bog spell. I would not have dumped points into Poison Magic to test it out. Instead, we would have trained Charms. Alright, we would have memorized Deflect Missiles. We would have pumped a lot of experience into Air and Charms, and we would have done that sort of a while back, obviously. You don't want to be ready to go into Shoals and then you're like, oh, time to train my D-Missile up. We happen to have found D-Missiles, so that would have been the way I would have helped make that less crappy. But let's assume we didn't find D-Missile. Then we're at a very interesting... we're in a very interesting situation at that point, because we have a choice between Spider, a place we don't want to go, and Shoals, a place we probably wouldn't want to go without D-Missile because there's just so much damage at range. I guess I would probably take my chances in Spider at that point, because we do have some other tools that make Spider less bad than I'm making it out to be. We have Fulminate Prism, which blows up lots of spiders. We have Spire, which there's a reasonable number of hallways in Spider that we could take advantage of. We have Petrify, which, again, because of the hallways in Spider, we could petrify one thing and kind of have some time to breathe because it's blocking the hallway. Petrify works in Shoals too, but there's less hallways to take advantage of. Summon Forest is really good in, probably better in Spider than in Shoals because it just, the cramped nature of it, as long as you actually get the spell off, it's going to be beating the hell out of a lot of stuff at the same time. And most of all, I have Cause Fear, which will let me make the spiders just sort of walk away, and almost everything in Spider has bad MR, so it's really okay. It's the wide open nature of Shoals that scares me more than anything, and the fact that damage can be done at range there. Now there are wide open floors in Spider, and it's very unlucky when you get them. They're very unfortunate. I guess it's probably not unlucky. You generally will see one almost every time you get Spider. And for those, I guess I'd probably be burning resources to deal with those. But yeah, if I got Shoals, we probably would be going to Spider instead, I think. But Swamp is a pretty obvious pick. Just because of, I mean, you get Summon Forest, and it's going to make Swamp really easy. Anyway, I have been talking a lot and not moving because I'm going to call the stream for now. I'm going to call it a night. I hope that you guys enjoyed the adventure today. We cleared out Orc, we cleared out Dungeon. We didn't do a whole lot other than that. I am moving a little slower than usual because I'm explaining every little thing I'm doing, which is okay. This is going to be a tutorial. It's meant to be a tutorial. But anyway, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I am signing out. Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.